communication, what it feels like, it's extraordinary. I had the privilege of going to meet an incredible business person over there to do some work together. He and his wife were going to be meeting royalty, and we had some coaching and guidance going on for a day or so. I was also privileged to go and visit some of his amazing schools in Istanbul in Turkey, with the view to literally delivering our coaching and training to his youngsters right through to seniors. And Dr. Jacalyn, it's been an incredible week with various things going on, different coaching and training sessions for some of the luxury brands. And I'm now in London, and for the first time since March 2020, I'm actually back at our venue here in London to deliver some one-on-one coaching with a young lady later this afternoon. So I'm hugely excited to be here. It was like literally a homecoming. It was wonderful. And just what tops it is being on the show today. So thank you, as always, for this amazing opportunity to take this show forward.
Thank you so much, Philip. I appreciate that. And I just love the studio environment that you have there. And you're looking quite dapper and handsome as always. I'd love for you to share some information, and let's have a chat and engage our viewers to interact with us. The holidays are coming. We've got Thanksgiving coming up here in the States, and also then we've got Christmas and other various holidays around the world. So when it comes to dress, the way you're dressed, and it comes to visiting someone, what to bring, when it comes to somebody giving you a gift and you don't have one for them, there's so many things that we need to learn more about when it comes to etiquette and the holidays. So let's just start off there. What are your thoughts about how to dress when it's for a holiday like Thanksgiving, Christmas, etc.? Can you show up in your sweatpants? Is that okay? Do you have to wear a suit?
I love that question. And I think obviously one needs to look at the invitation you've been sent and what the potential dress code is. But when in doubt, and I think this goes for any event or occasion that you're going to, I would always suggest overdressing slightly. Because in that way, if you arrive at a venue and everyone is a little bit more casual than you are, you're able to underdress slightly. You could, for example, if I pitched up at a networking event or at a function and all the men in the room were wearing an open collared shirt, no tie, and just a blazer, I could then at least get rid of my tie and maybe even get rid of my what you call in America my vest, but the waistcoat, and maybe just keep my blazer on. So I would fit in, and in turn I would feel very comfortable amongst the audience that I'm engaging with. So my view is to always look at the invitation, and when in doubt, phone the host and hostess and say, what would you like us to wear to the event? Because some people, you may have a sort of a jumper, Christmas jersey, Christmas jumper event. It could be a Thanksgiving, I don't know, maybe all dress in white or whatever the dress code might be. So I think it's really important that you make an effort. This goes back to being situationally aware of what should I do in order to turn up, obviously on time, but turn up looking the part so that I fit in. It's very important. Dress is hugely important, ladies and gentlemen. You had the privilege of engaging with our colleague Elsa last week. And, when it comes to styling an image, you get one chance to make that good first impression really at the end of the day. And what you wear definitely represents who you are. But not only that, it elevates you. It genuinely elevates you.
Really good points. Thank you so much. And that's what I typically do. I always dress a little bit higher than I might otherwise. I'm usually dressed up anyway, but I think that's a good point to phone the host or hostess and find out what they have to say. Now, what about when you arrive? And again, we're assuming people are taking all of the protocols with COVID and whatever the host or hostess is requiring. What do you bring with you? Do you need to bring something with you?
Again, look, I think people have heard of that wonderful phrase, fashionably late. And when you're being invited to someone's home, give them a 10-minute window. So if people say to you, come for 7:30 Thanksgiving dinner or Christmas dinner, give them a 10-minute window. Anything past that, you're starting to be rude and being late. It gives the host and hostess the opportunity just to gather last-minute things, get little finite details done, maybe last-minute lighting candles, just to check the presentation. But when you do arrive, I think taking a gift is always appropriate. Having said that, if a gift isn't in one's budget or you've by pure accident maybe forgotten to take one, I wouldn't fret too much about it. One can always make up for that, and I'll share that with you shortly. But arriving with a nice gift is always going to be well received. And again, you don't have to throw huge amounts of money at this particular challenge. It's sort of my go-to is anywhere from $10 to $20, £10 to £20, or €10 to €20, or the equivalent. And again, things such as beautiful weed diffusers, or a lovely candle, or an amazing herbid pot plant that you could maybe put some brown paper around and a beautiful big ribbon. Wine, take a decent bottle of wine with you, a decent bottle of handmade chocolates, flowers, that I think I may have mentioned. Having said that, in the past it was sort of frowned upon to take things such as flowers and wine. The reason being, if you arrive with flowers at the venue or your friend at their home, it meant the hostess had to excuse herself to go and pop those flowers in a vase. Nowadays, I would honestly just bring the flowers along, and if they lay them on the sideboard, or they have to disappear for a split second to pop them in some water, so be it. And then the wine front was frowned upon because potentially the host and hostess have got together to decide what the wine and food pairing should be. And so someone may have gone deep down into their cellar and pulled out some beautiful, 1970 Chateau Neuf de Pape or a Lafite de Rothschild, whatever it might be. And when you arrive with your bottle of wine, they're thinking, oh, should we open it? Shouldn't we? Should we? Shouldn't we? And in that particular instance, I would throw that out the window now. Arrive with your bottle of wine, and then the host can just take that bottle of wine and write on there and say, Dr. Jacalyn, I'm going to put your name on here, and the next time we open this, I'm going to raise a glass to your health. So taking those sort of gifts to a dinner or a luncheon is really wonderful and appropriate. If you're going to go further down the line of actual gift giving, this is something that I think is obviously appropriate, especially if you've got strong relations with your host and hostess and you know them particularly well. You can find something with a bit of a personal touch, and that does really make a huge effort. So I think it's making an effort to really give it a bit of thought. I think everything's about plan. And so there shouldn't really be an excuse arriving at someone's venue or a function empty-handed. But if you do, so be it. And you can make up for that by potentially, and I'm going to talk about the power of the pen and writing thank you cards, thank you notes. I think that's hugely important. We have a phrase coined here at the British School of Excellence, the power of the pen. And that is something fundamental, to write a thank you letter or a thank you note for a wonderful meal, the hospitality, the time together. But if you haven't arrived with something, sending a beautiful bunch of flowers the following day would be a wonderful surprise.
Wonderful. Thank you for that. And Philip, I actually have a question that's it's kind of self-serving because it pertains to me, but it might pertain to other people as well. So I have a very severe airborne shellfish allergy. And what I found as time has gone on is that before the pandemic, I just stopped going to people's homes because invariably I don't know what they're serving. I'm not going to call up and go, hi, what are you serving? And sometimes I've actually had to literally run out of the house because they were serving shellfish. So what is proper etiquette if somebody has an allergy? Maybe they have a peanut allergy, maybe they don't eat meat and they're vegetarian. What does one do?
Well, that's an amazing question. I mean, you think you're challenged with COVID, Dr. Jacalyn, and now you challenged with airborne, allergies. That it happens. Nuts on aircrafts and seafood. I know many people who have these sort of challenges. And firstly, I think as a good host and hostess, I would always encourage you to phone all your guests or email them and find out if they have any allergy whatsoever, because that would be the right thing to do, especially nowadays. It's common practice. It's exactly the same as if you were going to a function somewhere. You would request what you can, or you would tell the venue what you can and cannot, even if it were a wedding, whatever it might be. So again, from a host and hostess point of view, always phone the guests and just make sure you are absolutely clear they do and don't eat, and if they do have any allergies and how severe those allergies are. And again, I think Dr. Jacalyn, in your situation, I would pick up the telephone and just let the host and hostess know. If you haven't heard from them, just say, look, I love seeing you both and I love your friends and company, but I've unfortunately got this very severe allergy, and I'm going to please, I don't want you to change the menu on my behalf or my account, but it's seafood and I can't be anywhere near seafood. So I would still love to join you. I don't want you to go out of your way to change the menu. If you are serving seafood, I'd rather just, decline their invitation and meet up with you at another stage. So I think communication is one of the most important things. And, Dr. Jacalyn, this is something you're giving so many people incredible tools, is the importance, the real power of listening. And listening is all about communication, proper communication.
Brilliant. Thank you, Philip. You've just given me some wonderful insights about what I need to do going forward. And I hope that helps anybody out there who has allergies or eats a certain diet. So here's another question. We find out that they're serving meats. We don't eat meat. Can we bring our own meal with us?
Well, in some cultures, that is very appropriate, actually. In many cultures, when I've traveled the world, even if you, the host and hostess, are preparing, your guests arrive with even more plates of food. Look, I think, again, you could likely phone up your host and hostess and say, look, I don't want you to go to any trouble. I know it's a barbecue and you're serving meat, and I don't want you to have to go out of the way to get meat. I'm very happy to bring my own plate along or my own dish along, which I'll make a little bit extra, and everyone else can help themselves to what I would love to share or contribute. So I think this is such a brilliant question because, ladies and gentlemen, this is all about choice of words. We talk about the, positive, obviously positive language. But we also talk about professional language skills or elegant language skills or language of a professional. And I think this is really important. How we say certain things and our tonality is so important. So by picking up the phone and you use gorgeous tonality and you use the correct sort of terminology, may I, or I don't want you to go out of your way. I would really love the opportunity to bring a dish along which would suffice for me, and I don't want you to make a big fuss the fact that I'm not a meat eater.
Thank you, Philip. I'm actually here laughing a little bit because I made a major etiquette faux pas, which was I did call up someone. I was invited for dinner, and I called and said, hey, I know you were going to be having meat because you told me, and I can't eat meat. I don't eat meat, so I'm going to be bringing salmon. How is that? So they said it was fine. So I stopped by a local restaurant that's, it specializes, and because I can eat salmon, I can't eat shellfish. And so when I got there, I was completely embarrassed because they thought I was bringing enough for them as well. So they decided not to cook the meat, and they were relying on what I was bringing. I was literally mortified.
Dr. Jacalyn, that sounds like you're about to create a miracle of the feeding of the 10,000.
Yes. Yeah. So I'm glad that you brought that up, that there should be enough for everyone.
Yeah, I think it's a nice thing to do. It's just a lovely gesture. So a wonderful lesson learned, and that's actually a very amusing story. It's one you can really dine out on.
I think it's kind of the story of this single woman, because I'm so used to just, just the meal for me, and I wasn't thinking. So that was a good lesson to be learned. Now, I want to move on to another topic, and this happens quite frequently. It's happened to me. It's happened to other people I know during the holidays. So someone knocks at your door and has a gift for you. They have a card and they have a gift. Hi, neighbor. I just wanted to tell you how much I appreciate, having you here in the neighborhood, and I have this gift for you. And there you are. You have no gift, and you weren't even thinking about getting them a gift because they're your neighbor. You just didn't think about it. So now you excuse yourself and you start rummaging through your closet looking for something, anything that might not have ever been used that you could quickly give to them. Or you just say, I didn't do my shopping yet. I don't know. How does one handle this? Do you just take it graciously and say, thank you, I appreciate it?
Again, a wonderful question. And I think one needs to look at this like as one would accept compliments. So many people look at, someone pays you a compliment. Dr. Jacalyn, you're looking marvelous today. I love those earrings on you. Oh, thank you, Philip. I borrowed them from my sister. We make an excuse. Just say thank you. I love them, and I wore them specifically for the show today because I love them so much, and they feel like Friday earrings. Take and embrace that compliment. And the same way as a gift, if you were presented with a lovely gift from your neighbor and you hadn't even thought about presenting them in return, or even thinking about gifting them this year, just take it with beautiful gratitude and say, that is so thoughtful and so kind of you. You don't need to make an excuse. I didn't get you one, or I haven't done my shopping yet, or blah, 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 blah. You just literally say, thank you so much. That is so thoughtful and kind. Receive the gift. If it's appropriate, invite them in for a tea or coffee if you feel that's the right thing to do, or if you enjoy their company. Otherwise, just say thank you and take the gift, and then it gives you the opportunity to reciprocate a day or so later with a beautiful thank you card, handwritten thank you card, and possibly a very nice bunch of flowers, or even better, a plant that they might be able to put on their windowsill. It could be an orchid. It could be something they could place in their garden, depending on what climate they're in. Obviously planting something now in the UK in midwinter here or early winter is not going to really survive. But those sort of things one can just slow down and sort of ease into. Don't feel embarrassed, because this is life, and people are always giving us certain surprises, and it's just learning to take that on board very graciously with gratitude, and then off the back of that, dealing with a nice little follow-up with that lovely thank you note, thank you card, and a small sort of token of appreciation.
Philip, I love this, and I want to unpack part of what you said because I think this is so important for people to hear. We get a compliment, and then we give a story. I love your dress. Oh, this whole thing, I've had this. It's been in the closet. Or, oh yeah, I got this at a vintage store there. And then we go into some long thing, and the person's almost like, why did I bother saying anything? Because now I have an entire story that I have to listen to. So why do we do that? Because we're the center of attention. It feels uncomfortable. What are your thoughts?
It's a combination. Psychology will tell you it's a combination of that center of attention. The attention's on you now, and modesty. I know, for example, here in the United Kingdom, generally, I'm generalizing, a lot of British people are very sort of shy about promoting themselves or seeing themselves as in the spotlight. They really shy away from it. And I'm generalizing. I think more and more people now are hopefully understanding that it's actually great to be in the spotlight. Show up, shine. And one of my past coaches, someone who I've a mentor and a coach to me, he said something along the lines of, as you were growing up, people said, stop bragging, stop showing off. Well, I think I'm not talking about bragging as in being in someone's face and being arrogant, but you have a voice, and you've got a talent, then show it off, get recognized, get noticed. But yes, going back to your wonderful question, I think people do shy away. A lot of people shy away from this sort of center of attention and feeling embarrassed. There's an element of embarrassment kicking in, and I don't know why. I really don't know why people do handle these sort of compliments in that way. I'm going to give everyone that wonderful vote of confidence and just say thank you.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. So I'll give a little bit of a personal share just to show you my mindset. I went into the gym for the first time a few months ago. I haven't been to the gym in, I don't know, a year plus. And I saw somebody I hadn't seen, and she said, you really look great. You kept yourself in great shape. And I thought, does she really mean that? Because I didn't feel good about myself. So I started giving a whole thing. Well, I tried doing the trampoline, I was riding the bike, and this, and then I just see her away. So I think it has to do with insecurity also, in that maybe whatever the compliment is that the person's giving to you, you don't actually believe it yourself.
So that's a very strong point, and very, I think, a very true point. We need to believe in ourselves. So if you choose something that you feel good and amazing in, own it, take it on board. And, I think, again, a compliment can elevate you. Receiving the compliment can really elevate you if you're prepared to receive that compliment. It really can elevate you. But also when you give a compliment, it's an amazing feeling to pay and I'm talking a genuine compliment. So there's a wonderful lesson. She hopefully genuinely said, you're looking amazing. I haven't seen you for a while. You're looking really good. No need for you to start going down the rabbit hole with what you've tried, what you've done, and making all these excuses. Just say, wow, thank you. I'm so pleased. It's paying off, something along those lines. Because I know I'm going to go down a rabbit hole here, Dr. Jacalyn, as you know I often do. But just think about it. When we release words out of our mouth, we're giving life to our words. So we really need to be, really, very conscious of what words we're choosing when they come out of our mouths.
Great point. Now, you touched on this before, and I want to go back to it. So I say to you, Philip, I love that suit. I love the hanky. I love the whole. And then you say to me, "Oh, I love your dress." And then we go back and forth, and then it's not like it doesn't ever feel right to just give the compliment and not like receive one and not give one back.
Yeah, but there's a point where, Philip, you're looking at me, Dr. Jacalyn, that dress looks stunning on you, and that necklace just really finishes it off. Oh, thank you so much. And then break into your small talk. You don't need to go backwards and forwards like a tennis match. Break into your small talk, literally go into how's your journey in. And, by the way, I saw you raising money for this incredible charity. How's it going? Start to connect on topics that you know about one another, and just connect.
Yes, take it from the surface level down into whatever initiatives or opportunities the other person is involved with, right?
Completely.
Fantastic. Well, Philip, we're going to take a quick break. I love playing this clip because I think it's so relevant to all of us around the world. It's called the Earthshot Prize. And I want to thank Ian Pelham Turner and Helena Shard for sharing it with us. Let's take a look, and then we'll be right back with the power of etiquette and manners.
Super.
Ours is a world of wonder. Every day it reminds us of its beauty. It touches us, teaches us, and astounds us. But it also warns us that what we throw away does not go away. That higher temperatures mean a lot more than longer summers. That we can no longer take life as we know it for granted. We are at a unique stage in our history. Never before have we had such an awareness of what we are doing to the planet. And never before have we had the power to do something about that.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to USA Global TV, home of Talking Heads, and hello to our friends listening on Business Talk Radio. Our show is The Power of Etiquette and Manners, and who better to inform us than the principal of the British School of Excellence, Mr. Philip Sykes. Welcome back, Philip.
Thank you. What an amazing introduction Richard Attenborough shared with us there.
Well, I just love this show because I learned so much. I enjoy spending this time with you. And we, just for folks who are just joining us, we were talking about all kinds of situations and the proper protocols. Something else came to mind, and I think this can apply in business as well in personal situations. So when we think about the holidays, people prior to the pandemic, people were shaking hands, giving people hugs, wishing people well, happy holiday season, etc. So I want to just share something that happened with me, and then I'd love to have you weigh in on it and give some direction to people watching. I had worked in my corporate career, I'd worked on closing this piece of business, multi-million-dollar piece of business for over a year. And I became very close with the day-to-day contact. And so we met, and then the executive who was signing the contract was there. And so this person signed the contract, and I immediately stood up and went and gave my day-to-day contact a big hug. And she stood there rigid like this. And I at the moment, I couldn't understand what was happening because we had been out to dinner together and we worked on this for so long. And later she said, don't ever do that again. That was that was not the way you're supposed to act, because she didn't want the executive to think that she had some kind of preferential thought process in working with me. So I bring that up, and I'd love to have you discuss about that. When is it appropriate to throw your arms around someone? Maybe never. When is it appropriate to initiate physical contact in a holiday setting or in a business setting?
That's an incredible question as well. In society now, everyone has definitely become a lot more cautious. But having said that, I was at a fantastic event at the House of Lords a few Mondays ago, and everyone was shaking hands and hugging, and it was like there'd been no sort of divide in going. Everyone just gone back to the norm very, very quickly, and one forgets. And I think it's almost innate in us as human beings to as it is in the animal kingdom, is to be physical and to hug and to shake hands with human beings is a very common and normal thing to do. But Dr. Jacalyn, when it comes to sort of business and business etiquette, I would always urge caution in any given situation, despite being friendly with that person or despite having built up a fantastic relationship with that individual, because as I think quite rightly could be seen, is that there's favoritism going on, or there's a relationship going on that might not actually be sort of what's the word? Or there's a relationship that could scupper the deal, or something along those lines. As in favoritism, absolutely. It's the same as gift giving in the business world. There's always a limit to how much a gift should cost. Gone are those days where you would receive a $300, $400, $500 beautiful handbag or something along those lines, because of this particular sort of challenge that we're faced with now, the skepticism behind it all. But going back to the business etiquette angle, I think what I've learned now is I literally ask permission. I'm there. When I was, funny enough, at the school in Istanbul on Monday, I'm meeting the head teacher who's from the United Kingdom. I said, would you accept a handshake? Or, I normally go in with that namaste or the hand on the heart. And I say, are you open to a handshake? She says, I am, absolutely. And so she gave me actually a very solid handshake. I said, good handshake. And so there was a compliment there. But I always now, I think all of us need to just take a few split seconds just to ascertain the scenario, the environment, before you sort of dive into anything along those lines, especially in business. But again, when it comes now on the more friendship side of things, ask permission. Don't forget, people's mindsets have shifted. People are nervous. People are afraid. And then you get other people who are just huggers. They're going to hug you come hell or high water. So, but I do believe that it is in your capacity just to pause, observe that pause before connecting and engaging with someone. Just read the situation. I'm also very into giving people a hug. My male friends, my girlfriends, my family, I love it. But I've also become just a little bit more or situational awareness should I bring into play here, and even self-awareness.
That's a great point. Thank you. And I did what I just shared with you happened early in my career, and that was a key learning for me, which is why I bring it up, because that really made an impression on me. And I was actually grateful that the other person shared her feelings with me, because she could have just had nothing to do with me after that, even though we'd have to work together. But so that was wonderful. Something else that I'm wondering is, and this again, what's the appropriate thing to do? You find out that someone has lost a loved one. Many times people do not know what to do. They don't contact the other person. And then the other person thinks possibly that the first person doesn't care. So what do you do when you hear that someone has a misfortune in their life, or that they need an operation, or that they've lost someone? How do we address that?
Well, especially with social media, you see a lot of posts where people are struggling and battling, or people are sharing about people who are struggling and battling. I wear my heart on my sleeve here, and I do love sharing my thoughts and feelings, and sending a prayer, thoughts and feelings. If you genuinely are, I think that's something that one needs to sort of take on board, as it's about being compassionate. It's about being kind. It's about being thoughtful and very caring. But you've genuinely got to be that individual. You must make an effort. Everyone needs a helping hand in this world. And you just never know when someone might need that helping hand. you just never know what other people are going through. And it's up to us to make an effort to go out of our way to connect with people. And I think this is really appropriate, right? And couldn't be more appropriate as where we are right now in the world. Reach out to people that you haven't spoken to for a while. Reach out to people that you've heard are going through a tough time. Reach out to people that you know that you could be of some form of assistance. And it's that random act of goodness, that random act of kindness on a daily basis. And I truly believe we will set the world in the right direction. It makes a world of difference. You could change someone's life just through reaching out to them.
It's so true. And I think that people recognize that it might be awkward to contact them because they probably been in the situation themselves. I mean, let's face it, we all have adversity that we have to deal with. But you remember that somebody did reach out, whatever way it is that they reached out, you remember that they took the time to think of you.
And time is everything. You don't, Dr. Jacalyn, it goes back to that lovely quote I often have in my studio, back where we run our searching from. And it's these people forget what you said, they'll forget what you did, but they'll never forget how you made them feel. And that's what this is about. It really and truly is. And everything, as the old adage cliche goes, it's the thought that counts. It's the thought that is so key. It's so important. And I cannot tell you how many people would appreciate you reaching out. And if you don't get anything back from them, that's okay. That's okay. You know what? It's always give and never remember. Always receive and never forget. And that is very, very important. And for me, it's the same when, let's go back to gift giving. I don't want to go off piste here, but, it's the same with gifts. You always give and you never remember. Always receive, never forget. It's not about tit for tat in life. And the moment you adopt that mindset and that attitude, you will be amazed at what happens in your personal life and in your family's life. And I have a caveat there, though. Don't keep giving to people who keep taking. Okay, that is something that I really want you to all be very, very aware of. There are many people out there who will keep taking and will not reciprocate in any form that they keep coming back for more. Because hopefully a lot of us have these amazing open hearts. But there comes a time and place where you just say, you know what, I'm just going to just distance myself. I'm not going to be open generous going forward because you'll end up tripping yourself up somewhere. Right? So that's very, very important. Yeah, you asked me to do it. But yeah, I think it's so key about making that going out of your way to check in on people.
Yes, and thank you for that, Philip. And something I just want to add on to that is we've all known people who keep a mental list. Sometimes they even have a physical list of all the things they've done for you or other people. And then they whip out that list at any given time you're having a conversation. Well, in June of 19, whatever, I did this for you and I did that for you. And you think to yourself, are you kidding? You actually are remembering? Who keeps track of all the things they do for people? Like if you just give from your heart, you don't keep track of it because then it's not genuine as far as I'm concerned.
It's that you've got a hidden agenda in that case, and that is really off. That is off center in my opinion, and again that boils down to your emotional intelligence and your sort of whole physical makeup and mental being. Anyone, I know what it's like because growing up, I think with siblings, I did that for you. I've done so much for you. You see it in relationships. I'm always doing X, Y, and Z for you, and I get nothing back. And I think when we adopt that sort of approach and mindset, you're just on a very rocky road, and you're going to land up, hitting a brick wall somewhere along the line.
Yes, because if you are the person that has the list, you must be in a perpetual state of frustration because you're constantly trying to prove yourself. But if you just give from the heart, there's nothing to prove. It's just, hey, I really do care, and here's how I'm showing you.
Absolutely, genuine care. And it goes back to when you give, you get a lot back. I tell you, you get a lot more back. You get 10-fold, 100-fold back, and you give it without remembering. Do it. It'll just, for all of those of you out there, try that little saying. Give, never remember. Receive, never forget.
Say that again, Philip, please.
Give and never remember. Receive and never forget. So never forget what people do for you. Absolutely. And if you can, just do something in return for them, as simple as a beautiful thank you, a handwritten letter, a handwritten note, either a text message, a nice email. Just absolutely adopt that approach, and you'll be amazed at what comes your way in life.
Wonderful. Thank you. One thing I just want to leave with, because I think this comes up often as well, is someone gives you a gift, you weren't expecting it, and you don't really want to accept it because now you feel some obligation.
It's an awkward situation. It is. It is an awkward situation. Again, this takes courage. This takes confidence, because if you push the gift back at them, do you think the gift giver is going to take it back? I very much doubt it. Not only that, they might have been so excited about giving you that gift, so you're going to dampen their excitement. You're going to actually squash the whole thought, feeling, and energy behind that amazing gift that they've been wanting to give you. And don't forget, a gift given doesn't mean you need to give a gift back right there and then. It is something I want you all to take on board. If you are given and gifted a gift, then just take it with graciousness. I held my hands up. I'm not good at receiving gifts. I've had to learn to receive gifts with graciousness. I don't know what it is in me. Maybe it was from my upbringing. I'm not sure. And it wasn't particularly good at receiving gifts. So maybe that, the chip off the old block. But, my wife is an incredibly generous person. And she one of her love languages is actually gift giving. She loves giving people gifts. She's so generous. And I've really embraced receiving gifts now. And I take them, I appreciate them, and if it's a gift that I've got another one of, then I might keep it in its box and find an appropriate opportunity to gift it onto someone else, or give it to someone who needs it, and let's say, take it to a charity or something like that. But be grateful for the gifts that you've been given, because I'm hoping and praying that the people giving you those gifts put a lot of thought and energy into it, and it's not your place to frown upon that or try and push the gift back at them because you've got an issue with how it's making you feel awkward and embarrassed that you haven't got something to reciprocate with. There's still time to reciprocate. That beautiful thank you letter will be worth its weight in gold. I promise you that. It really is. It's about you taking time. For those of you out there who've never written a thank you letter, never written a thank you card, please make an effort over this next period of Thanksgiving, over this period of the Christmas festivities, to sit down and write thank you cards, thank you letters to the people that have thought about you, people that have gifted you something beautiful, who've entertained you at their home, who've done something amazing for you, and you'll be amazed at what you will receive in return from that. And don't forget, how would you make the other person feel? How would you feel if you received a beautiful handwritten letter or note from somebody? How would you feel?
It is a wonderful feeling, especially when what usually comes in the mail is a bill or a newspaper or something, and you get this handwritten card. I've had many people from around the world send me cards, and it literally brings tears to my eyes. It's so beautiful. So thank you for sharing that. Philip, I'm going to spotlight you as we close out this show. If you can give an overview of the type of courses and training that you provide at the British School of Excellence, that would be fabulous.
Super. Thank you, Dr. Jacalyn. Well, again, to all of you out there, amazing listeners and people following Dr. Jacalyn on her incredible journey to just do so much for so many people. You talk about someone giving. This is one person that I know gives more than most people I know in this world. So, Dr. Jacalyn, it's always an opportunity to work with you and to be a part of your team. Ladies and gentlemen, the British School of Excellence has had the opportunity and the privilege to develop some amazing courses out there, starting with Etiquette from our sort of 6-year-olds to 12, then moving into mindset and manners for our teenagers, moving into other areas of courses such as the polished professional, the polished graduate, the polished student, where we talk about business etiquette and business excellence and putting your best foot forward. We run courses to help people who want to enter into the industry that we're in, to either bolt onto their own coaching programs or to start their own school of etiquette or excellence. We have Train the Trainer. And then we've got this unique, beautiful, and I say beautiful because it is about beauty, our emotional intelligence department, where our colleague who's been on the show on numerous occasions, Richard Cullinan, heads up the EQ faculty, the EQ 101 About Me program. It is phenomenal. Any of you wanting to change your life right now, turn it around. I'm going to urge you and encourage you to take a look at the website, the British School of Excellence.com, and see what we can offer you. And then, as you know, you've had the privilege of being or the Dress Club with Elsa, who heads up our styling and image area of the organisation. And there are many more courses out there that we deliver and offer. But those are the ones I wanted to share with you right now on this particular day. And again, if there's anything we can do for you, a conversation, a chat, whatever it might be, please do engage with us. We've got some amazing content and material on our social media channels, which you can gain access through our website. So thank you.
Thank you so much, Philip. Always a pleasure seeing you. And I love the information that you share. Really very valuable gems. So if you missed any of the show, please go over to our YouTube channel, USA Global TV, and just click subscribe. And we have a playlist that's called The Power of Etiquette and Manners. You can find all of our shows there. All right, we are going to say goodbye for now. We have another show coming up right after this. It's a brand new show, actually, and it's called Get Lucky with Meredith Allen. So I'm really excited about that. We'll be back in just over 10 minutes. So thank you again, Philip. It's great seeing you. Have a lovely weekend.
Blessed weekend. Thank you all. Bye.
Bye, everybody.
Bye-bye.
Bye.